Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to thank everybody for watching all our Boston Whaler videos. Those have been awesome. Today we're going to do a little bit more maintenance. We're going to change the foot oil, or the lower unit oil, some people call it, and just do some cleanup and general maintenance on the Whaler. We're going to be using this Mystic lower unit gear lubricant. I got this at O'Reilly. It's a pretty decent price, and I think Mystic makes a good product, so that's what we're using today. To change your lower unit gear lube on any outboard, you want your motor basically tilted all the way down into the upright position. There's a drain plug and a vent plug up here. You take your vent plug out so that it'll drain faster. Usually it's a flathead, sometimes it's a different, but all the ones I've ever seen were flatheads. And then we take the lower plug out. It's down here at the bottom. This is what actually drains all the oil out. Looks pretty good, not too bad. Got a little bit of moisture in it. May have to check on the seal soon. That's why we're changing it today. This is a brand new motor to me, so I don't know how long that's been in there. So we're going to change it out and see how long it takes for it to get milky like that again. May have to change the seal. While that's draining, I'm going to address another problem we've been having, which is lights. Sometimes we have lights, sometimes we don't. As you can see, this plug has been drug a little bit, and I don't know if it's getting great connection or not, so we're going to change it out, and then we're going to diagnose the lights if this doesn't fix it. So here we go. This harness has lots of wires in it, way more than it needs. The replacement harness I have has 5 wires. This harness for this boat trailer was made with 6 wires. So what we're going to have to do is consolidate these 2 white wires, which are both grounds, into one, so I can hook it to this. And then once we have it all done, we'll have a brand new harness end. As y'all can see, these 2 harnesses look different. They make lots of different designs of these. This one's open, this one's got like a little weather shield on it, but I'll show you, they both fit in the same spot. That plugs right in to my truck, and then this one plugs right into the truck. It's just different designs. Everybody has their own design, but they all are pretty much universal. These are our connectors we're going to be using today to try to get this harness put back together. The first order of business is going to be to cut this end off of this harness. I'm going to start right here. Oh, my cutters are getting old. Maybe time for a new set. Now we have a bare harness end. Alright, let's start cleaning some wires and putting them together. It's going to be much more of a pain than I originally thought, but we'll get it done. Well, what I've done so far is I've got to connect basically 2 wires into one and then have another one here to connect to my 2 browns in this. So I've connected these 2 together and I've stripped this one. I'll cut it off. We'll put connectors on both of them and connect them to the browns in this harness. And then we'll move on to the other colors. This connector is blue because I'm connecting 2 wires into this side of it. It's made for a little bit larger gauge of wire. Just makes it easier to put the wires in there. The pink is for a smaller gauge of wire. If you're using the 2 smaller gauge wires, you use the pink. Gonna attack these whites next. All of these 3 have to go into this one. So we'll see how I can get that done. Well, it looks like the foot is completely drained. We'll get a rag and wipe the oil off the edge of the foot there, and then we'll fill it back up. Blue rags, everyone should have some. Clean this up real nice. Now this is kind of the hassly part because you have to stick this in the bottom here and squeeze until it comes out of the top vent here. This is kind of the hassly part. Some of these are sold in like a squeeze tube, but I didn't get the squeeze tube because the bottle was all they had at the time. You have to cut the tip here so that the oil will come out, and there is a seal that you have to take out on the inside most of the time. But you have to put the oil in the bottom here and squeeze until it comes out the top here. I read the Mercury owner's manual and it said that it takes, I think, about 3/4 of a quart. So it's going to kind of be a pain to get it all in there. All right, here we go. When it starts coming out the top there, put the plug in. And then you quickly put the plug in the bottom. Well, that's the job complete. Let's move on to the next thing. I decided to do a little bit different route on these three because these three have to go into one. I'm just not going to use a connector, but I'm going to tie them all together, and I'm going to use some heat shrink on them. That way it'll all be watertight when I get done. Hate those flies. Pick an appropriate size heat shrink here. That'll work right there. We'll slide this over the small wire. Tie all those together and come in and tie this in very tightly. And when I heat shrink this together, this heat shrink has a glue in it that's going to go in there and make everything watertight. 2 more wires to go, and then we'll start heat shrinking everything once it gets all connected. If any of y'all have noticed my thumb, it's been healing. I smashed it, a month or so back, and it's finally started working that black spot out of it. There's a little bit of plumbing glue in there, you know, as it usually happens. Uh-oh, that didn't connect. Might as well cut. It's a bad one. All right. Now we can go get something, heat shrink all this stuff together.
Okay.
This is what I use for my heat shrink gun. It's actually a solder station, and this is a hot air gun to desolder circuit boards. But I just turn it on to use it for heat shrink. Take it off of its rest, and it turns on, starts heating up. Well, it's supposed to anyway. There it goes. These connectors that I'm using are also heat shrink connectors that allow you to heat shrink the ends to seal them from moisture, which is really good on a boat trailer because sometimes you're going to be near the water. This is one of the connectors before we heat shrink it, and then we'll show you what it looks like after. And that's what it looks like after the heat shrink. And then for my soldering station, we can put this back on its cradle, and it will sit there and cool itself off until it's completely cool, so that you don't have to worry about burning anything. Now that we've got everything connected, I'm just going to leave this untaped for now. Once we know that all the lights are working correctly, we'll get all this taped back up and put back up to where it's nice further going down the road. Unplug that plug for me. do love that little heat shrink gun. It works really good for that. All right, it's the moment of truth. We're gonna plug it up, start testing lights, and see what happens. Let's see. We've got one tail light. That's good. Got one. Let's check blinkers and brake lights. Do we have brake lights? One? Which one? The same one? Blinker? Blinker? Do you want to break for lunch? You come back after lunch?
Yeah, let's break for lunch.
Okay. All right, well, we got the plug fixed. It's a little later in the day, but we still don't have this light here working. So I'm gonna take this loose, take it off, and test the wires here. It's a big wad of wires that somebody has taped up before. We'll see what's in there and if we're actually getting power here or if I need to go back up there again. It's odd. It's an odd amount of wires to odd colors of wires. All right, let's do some testing. Let's see, here's some old connectors. Yeah, that's what I was looking for right there. All right, what we're gonna do, it's most likely one of the problems right there. Just unplug that plug. That is supposed to look just like that. It just fell apart on the inside. So, yeah. I figure we'll be doing some wiring right here. And that just fell out. It's all corroded and just junk. All that green corrosion. We'll get rid of all that. But I want to see if the power is actually getting here where I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug all these. And test them. I got to go get the key on in the truck and get the lights on. See that? That is my blinker blinking up there. And that there is my headlights. So this is the ground wire, and these are the two wires that run the lights. So my problem was probably right here this whole time with all this corrosion. So we'll get all this handled and get that light to working. Well, I'm running a little low on connectors right now, so we're going to do the whole tie it together and put heat shrink on it. This is almost just as good as a connector because these glue together and they keep everything watertight, so I think this will be fine. But for today, we're going to cut into this conglomeration of stuff and see exactly what all this is. Because it's been a while since I've seen a wad of wires that big. They used waterproofing tape, which was pretty good. Y'all just ignore the train in the background if y'all can hear that. It's fairly close, and they get super loud around here sometimes. But got to keep moving on with the progress here. You can see that somebody used waterproofing tape before, which, I mean, is okay. It's waterproofing. But they used a house electrical twist connect here. That's a little different. Come on. Come over there. All right. Let's see here. Those 2 wires. I might as well just go ahead and cut this other one to the same length. By the way, I love multi-tools. I use them all the time for my house work and where I work. I just love them. Cut that right around there. Then we're going to take these, just do a little snip.
What were all those other wires for?
Snip. I think they were just fixes. This is just where somebody's tried to fix it multiple times with multiple lengths of wire and just never actually tried to fix it right, I don't guess. So what I'm going to do is strip a few wires here. I just realized that this light actually has a plug that'll come out that shows you where everything goes. It seems that the brown is your tail light, which it should be. The red should be your stop and turn light, and the white's your ground. It's labeled actually on the light itself right here. That's kind of cool. So I'm cleaning my connectors here. Alright, and then we're going to get these spliced in. Find some appropriate sized heat shrink. That ought to work. It's bigger. I'm going to use a black and a red. We're not going to use all of both. We'll cut them both right in half. We don't need the whole length of it. We use the move the black to over here. I'll use the other red right here. That's 2 hot wires in the ground. That way it'll kind of be color coded. And we're just gonna repair the wires. So the red should be stop and tail. Slide that down over that. Get this one down over that. And we'll put our white with our white. Now before I heat shrink, we're going to hook this back up to the actual light and do a little test. Now I've just kind of got this stuck up here, you know, resting with all my wires connected. No heat shrink on it yet. I'm going to go test the light. Tail light?
Yes.
Blinker?
It's blinking.
Let's try this. Tail light with a blinker.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now we can go the lake again.
Yeah, legally. All right, let's get this heat shrunk and put back together.
How hot does that get?
Well, with this particular model, I can make it as hot as I want. I think it'll go all the way up to like 600 or 700 degrees Celsius. But right now it's on about 300 degrees Celsius, which is more than plenty to shrink this heat shrink. Trying to be gentle so we don't break any wires or anything.
Or burn yourself.
All right. Let's get this. Turned itself off at 100. All right. Let's get this thing put back on here and installed. That's supposed to be see how we can route these wires. Actually going to take them around this side through this little gap here. And out this side with the light. Let me. Those bolts there are a pain in the butt. Alright. A little piece of tape along these bolts where they won't try to fall out. And route these up and around through here. Give me a piece of tape off of there. Thanks, girl. Tape that a little bit right there. And we're gonna make it go right through that gap on that side of the light. All right, I'm gonna have to actually lay down here with it where I can see what I'm doing. Clean off my little piece of cardboard here. And this way it's built is kind of a pain. All right, now I can get back up. All right, y'all, that's gonna be it for this video. I think this is gonna be the last thing we're gonna fix today. We'll see you in the next one.